The Bengals officially introduced safety Nick Scott on Monday. Let's discuss takeaways from what he said, plus safeties coach Rob Livingston praising the veteran safety. Hi again, everyone, and welcome in to Cincinnati Bengals Talk. I'm James Rapien of allbengals.com here at Paycor Stadium, where just less than an hour ago, actually, Nick Scott was officially introduced right here at Paycor Stadium. He signed a 3-year, $12 million contract with the Bengals, and, well, it's an exciting time. And part of the reason why it's exciting, and we posted his entire news conference right here on CBT, is because I think it's going to be safe to say that you might not know who Nick Scott is. I think that part is safe to say at this time. And maybe you watched our first video on him and you've gotten to know him a bit over the past couple of days. But my initial impressions are he's going to be exactly what this Bengals defense needs. From a culture standpoint, from a veteran leadership standpoint, from an athleticism and versatility standpoint, all of those things, he's checking all of those boxes. And so when I see the Chauncey Gardner-Johnson signing, and a lot of people saying, I can't believe the Bengals didn't go after Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. I get it, because just skins on the wall, all of those things. I think Nick Scott fits the Bengals. I think much like Von Bell did 3 years ago when they signed him, and it was kind of an out of nowhere, the Bengals got Von Bell. Now they need to replace, not necessarily Von Bell, but replace some of that leadership. And to me, the Bengals more athletic. But something Nick Scott said today was how he likes to play 100 miles an hour always. Robert Livingston backed that up, the Bengals safeties coach. And I think that part is fair. He says how he models his game physically and wants to be the physicality standpoint. Excuse me. From a physicality standpoint, wants to be much like Brian Dawkins was. Also says he wants to be a ball hawk in the back end like an Ed Reed. And, okay, so Hall of Famers. But that's what this guy models himself after. Talked about how he wants to be a guy who can do both. And the Bengals already have an extremely versatile safety in Dax Hill, who played outside corner, nickel corner, safety last year. And so now you have a guy, Nick Scott, who started in the Super Bowl, who started throughout that Rams playoff run, by the way. People forget that. He stepped up, played at a high level. That was really his first time starting. He only had one start before that, started every game but one last year for the Rams, 16 starts overall. He's an ascending player, and the Bengals feel like they got it right culturally. They got it right from an athleticism and versatility standpoint. So that's a major takeaway. And then the other part of this is he talked about why he wanted to come here, and there were a bunch of reasons. And in the end, he mentioned championships. And that part of it, I think, is really, really cool, because you're seeing a theme now, which is much, much different than, say, a few years ago. It's winning, a chance to win championships, a chance to get back to the Super Bowl, which obviously he did with the Rams. And that part of it is big. The culture part of it, extremely, extremely big. And Joe Burrow reached out to him. Mike Hilton added him to the defensive backs group chat already. Chidobe Awuzie reached out to him. He said he really felt the love the moment he agreed to that deal. Visited the team Thursday, was able to talk with Lou Anarumo, was able to talk to Robert Livingston. And so the Bengals safety room is changing, but that doesn't mean it's going to just drop off a cliff or be this huge weakness. And I want to reiterate that and really hammer that home, because I think a lot of people see what they left and what they lost, Jesse Bates and Von Bell, and it is a huge loss. There's no denying that. But I watched Nick Scott talk up here for 15, 20 minutes. He's got a Super Bowl. He's paid his dues in the NFL as a 7th-round pick. He's worked his way up to a starter, and not only a starter, but now he gets a second contract. And Lou Anarumo clearly wanted Nick Scott in town, clearly wanted to get him locked up and be part of the Bengals, wanted to coach him. I think that all of those factors make it really easy to look at it and say, all right, well, the Bengals are athletic in the secondary, but certainly at safety. And they have a guy in Nick Scott who's worked his way up from a 7th-rounder to now likely a team leader. Perfect complement to a 1st-rounder in Dax Hill, who's obviously going to have a huge role this year. So to me, he aced it. Some other takeaways, he has a 3-month-old, which I didn't get to talk to him about. It's busy when these guys are in here. They roll in, they talk to us, and then they have to go other interviews and stuff. But he's rocking a Duna stroller, which if you're expecting the Duna stroller, and this is not an ad, is clutch. I have a Duna stroller too for our 2-month-old. And it's awesome because it folds up and goes right in your car. And then you can just boop, press a button, and boom, the wheels come out, and you can push her all around or push him all around in his son's case. Point is, that was a takeaway. Another takeaway was the fact that Joe Burrow was here, and they were able to talk in the locker room very briefly, but they were able to talk in the locker room. So I think that part is pretty cool as well. So Nick Scott in town, signing his deal, the newest member of the Bengals. Who else could they potentially sign? Foster Moreau? Well, it still hasn't happened, and I think that is interesting. Time is ticking as we record this at 1:44 on Monday here at Paycor Stadium. So we'll see. We'll see if they can get a tight end. We're going to have you covered there. But overall, my big takeaway, I think he's going to fit like a glove from a scheme standpoint, an athleticism standpoint. He's versatile, takes pride in being able to deliver big hits and step up in the run game, but also you see this with the Rams, plays deep and is able to be that guy like Jesse Bates was for this team. So I think he's going to fit like that. So I asked Robert Livingston that, how they fit together. And he said, you don't even really want to give them labels, strong safety, free safety, because a look could change and they flip depending on what it is and depending on week to week. And so I think they have two guys that are extremely versatile and a third guy in Tyson Anderson they believe in as well, along with a veteran in Michael Thomas who they re-signed. So I know there's a lot of worry about the safety room. I don't think the Bengals are too worried. Make sure you check out that Nick Scott news conference, get to know him a little bit. I think he's quickly going to become a fan favorite. And for Andrew Fox-Miller, our channel coordinator, I'm James Rapien signing off for now on CBT, Cincinnati Bengals Talk.